Brilliant blue lightning tears through the darkness, jagged streaks of pure energy crackling violently across the panel, like the sky itself is being ripped apart. Below, a strangled cry of "Ack!" escapes as a lone figure staggers, overwhelmed by the devastating surge of power crashing down around him. Electricity crackles violently between the two clashing figures as they grapple at point-blank range, golden sparks erupting from where their bodies collide. The raw energy distorts the air around them, the sheer force of impact blurring their forms into streaks of motion. This is no ordinary fight. This is a collision of power that could level everything around them. A massive hand clamps down over the man's face, smothering him with brutal force as his suit and tie come into sharp focus. His own hand reaches out desperately, fingers trembling as he struggles against an overwhelming grip. This is no ordinary attack. Someone is about to crush him completely. Fighter jets streak across a burning orange sky, smoke trailing through the air as they roar past a bridge below. The horrified whisper of "No way" cuts through the chaos, signaling that whatever's happening, this is far worse than anyone could have imagined. His eyes widen in shock, a thin streak of blood trickling down his forehead as he stares at the figure looming before him. The dark-haired protagonist freezes, caught completely off guard by whatever stands in his path. The tension is suffocating. Something has gone terribly wrong. His eyes burn with an otherworldly golden glow, smoke literally pouring from them as embers drift through the darkness around his face. The expression is cold, merciless. A man who has crossed a line and isn't coming back. Someone desperately cries out his name. Joonghyuk! Wait! But it's clear nothing in this world can stop him now. Against a dark, ominous sky streaked with dying sunlight, the shocked question erupts. How do you know that? Are you also a regressor? The mysterious reply cuts through the tension, deflecting the question entirely. It doesn't matter who they are, only what comes next. Against a blazing sunset sky, two figures embrace on the edge of a cliff, their coats billowing in the wind as silhouetted onlookers watch from below. The moment feels heavy with surrender and purpose as one whispers a vow that he can finally be of use. It's a haunting, almost tragic image of loyalty forged in the dying light. A massive cavern of jagged stone stretches above, debris and rubble suspended in the dim, oppressive air. Below, a close-up reveals our hero's face, one wide eye staring upward in stunned silence, speechless at the sheer scale of what looms before him. Against a brooding sky swirling with dark clouds, a voice cuts through the silence with words that change everything. "Joonghyuk," they say, "I know the future you don't know." It's a declaration that hangs heavy in the air, promising secrets that could reshape destiny itself. Pinned to the ground with an iron grip crushing his throat, the young man claws desperately at the hand, choking the life out of him. Sweat pours down his terrified face as the golden sky burns behind him. And then, in that final desperate moment, a familiar blue notification chimes to life with a ding. His eyes widen in sheer disbelief, pupils shrinking as his teeth clench in shock at the sight before him. Below, a heavy boot crushes down onto the cracked stone floor, debris scattering with the force of impact. Something massive has arrived, and he knows he's in trouble. The endless cosmos stretches out in silent majesty, countless stars scattered like shattered diamonds across the deep, indigo void. Somewhere in the heart of that infinite darkness, a single point of light burns brighter than the rest, as if fate itself is about to be set in motion. Against a breathtaking cosmic backdrop of swirling stars and nebulae, the legendary Prophet attribute is revealed, the singular power capable of piercing through time itself to glimpse the future, and the only ability that can passively nullify detection skills. And get this, in the entire world of TWSA, only one character was ever known to possess this godlike gift. Droplets suspend in the suffocating darkness, frozen mid-fall like tears refusing to land. Below, a shadowy figure emerges through the torrential downpour, their silhouette barely visible against the shattered, rain-soaked ground. The world feels broken, drenched in despair as the storm rages on. A body plunges helplessly through the dark water, sinking deeper alongside the wreckage of a car and scattered debris. Bubbles rise frantically around the unconscious figure as they descend into the cold abyss, completely at the mercy of the crushing depths. Submerged underwater with streaks of light cutting through the dark depths, our hero fights to keep their lungs from giving out. Every second stretches into eternity as they desperately cling to consciousness, knowing that passing out now means certain death. A blinding flash erupts across the panel as motion lines streak through the chaos, capturing the raw impact of a devastating blow. Below, swallowed by an endless void of darkness, a tiny silhouette stands utterly alone, small, fragile, and dwarfed by the overwhelming emptiness surrounding them. Water explodes in a massive splash as bodies are sent hurtling through the air, limbs flailing helplessly against the violent torrent. Rocks scatter and debris flies as the figures crash down into the churning depths, completely at the mercy of the raging current. The sheer force of the impact is bone-shattering. Whoever survives this is going to wish they hadn't. Rain pours down in violent sheets, hammering against jagged rocks as turbulent waters churn below. A lone figure stands amidst the storm, drenched and battered, yet still on his feet. "It seems I've made it." His voice cuts through the chaos, signaling that the worst may finally be behind him. Battered and breathless, our hero gasps inside the belly of the beast, his suit torn and sweat dripping down his exhausted face. He's made it, somehow, into the creature's stomach, without being ripped apart or digested, surrounded by churning fluids and the ominous rummaging of the monster around him. Deep within the shadowy cavern, a brilliant light suddenly erupts from the object in his hand, cutting through the darkness like a beacon. The young man stands waist-deep in the murky water, his expression calm yet focused as the mysterious glow illuminates the ancient stone surroundings. Something powerful has awakened. Two figures lean over the edge of devastation, their flashlight beam cutting through the smoky darkness below. The light reveals a horrifying scene: crushed cars, scattered rubble, and bloodied bodies trapped in the wreckage. Their faces tighten with grim realization as they stare down into the carnage. Bodies lie scattered across the rain-soaked ground, their forms broken and motionless as crimson blood mingles with the pouring water. A shattered shield rests beside one of the fallen warriors, evidence of a desperate last stand that ended in devastation. The ominous dark structure looming nearby casts its shadow over the carnage, a silent witness to the slaughter. Rain pours down in sheets as broken bodies lie scattered across the battlefield, blood streaking through the downpour. A massive blade rests against a fallen warrior, while severed remains and lifeless faces stare into the void, the aftermath of a slaughter too brutal to comprehend. The silence after the storm is deafening. Drenched in sweat and water, our protagonist holds up his phone with a smug, knowing smirk, the screen's bright light cutting through the darkness of the cavern. "Wow, what a sight," he taunts, savoring the moment as his enemy can only curse in defeat. The tide has officially turned. Splash! He crashes into the freezing water, his body half submerged as waves churn violently around him. His eyes are closed, face barely above the surface. Is he even still conscious? Drenched and kneeling on the cold ground, our hero crouches with sharp eyes, burning beneath wet bangs, water still cascading around him like shattered glass. His mind races as he questions the bizarre situation. Is this a trial? Does the entity want him to prove he's worthy of standing by its side?